the Caitlin Clark stimulus package, also known as the newly agreed upon CBA deal. Make no mistake about it, folks. Every time the owners came to the table and said, fine, we'll increase the salary cap to this, you can thank Caitlin Clark. Every time the owner said, fine, we'll pay for your housing again, you can thank Caitlin Clark. Every time the owner said, shoot, we really don't want to come up off this 15% number, but you know what? We'll move a little bit. You can thank CC20.
Aja Wilson didn't expect this. Over the last 2 years, plenty of people convinced themselves that the hype around Caitlin Clark was overblown, that media coverage had exaggerated her influence, that her numbers would eventually level off, and that the league already had established stars long before Clark arrived and would continue just fine without the extra attention. But when the WNBA approved the biggest collective bargaining agreement in the history of women's professional basketball, almost no one truly saw it coming. If you're enjoying this content, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Surprisingly, more than 83% of viewers still aren't subscribed. It's completely free, takes just a second, and really helps us out. So are you subscribed yet? Great, thank you for the support. Now let's get back to the video.
A'ja Wilson and all her Glazers could give a big thank you to Caitlin Clark for her getting paid. Ever since the league came to an agreement, all we've been hearing about is how A'ja Wilson is about to sign this historic Supermax deal like she just did it all on her own. No, you could thank Caitlin Clark for revolutionizing the game so you could get paid. We don't care how many MVPs and championships A'ja won or how she was already known. It doesn't matter. She didn't change the dynamic of the league for the players to get paid like.
The salary cap jumped from $1.5 million to $7 million. The average salary rose from roughly $120,000 to over $600,000. The minimum salary is now above $300,000. These are numbers veteran players had been fighting for long before Caitlin Clark was even in high school. This is real money, life-changing money. Clark's own salary increased from $78,066 in 2025 to $530,000 in 2026, and that number immediately grabbed everyone's attention. From that point forward, everything changed.
For example, 2024 Rookie of the Year Caitlin Clark, who made $78,066 in 2025, is poised to see her salary jump to $530,000 in 2026. So this year, she is about to jump to that salary, okay? Now, the other jump, the new provision would also be applicable to younger stars such as Aaliyah Boston, who is max eligible in 2026, and Paige Beckers, who is max eligible in
Here's what actually happened. Everyone inside women's basketball knew a negotiation between the WNBA and the Players Association was coming, and it stretched across 17 months. The previous CBA belonged to a completely different era, a league still searching for relevance. Not one securing major broadcast deals that would have seemed unrealistic 5 years ago, filling arenas that once struggled to draw crowds, and breaking viewership records. At the center of that growth was one player. Every key metric and executive conversation pointed to the same conclusion.
Was because of Caitlin Clark's impact. All of the numbers and the metrics that the players could point to, do you see these ratings? Well, Caitlin Clark effect. Oh, do you see this attendance? Well, Caitlin Clark effect. Do you see the social media impressions? Well, Caitlin Clark effect. This is called this Caitlin Clark stimulus package, and it will go down as...
So when the new CBA was revealed in March 2026, it included a provision that no one officially wanted to tie to a single player. They named it the EPIC Clause, a fast-track compensation system for players who significantly impact league revenue before their rookie contracts expire. The official language never mentions Caitlin Clark, but it didn't need to. Everyone in every boardroom knew exactly who it was about. The EPIC Clause is the league's quiet acknowledgement that not all players operate on the same level. Some require different rules.
So this WNBA collective bargaining agreement will fast-track the ability for players on a rookie scale contract to make maximum and supermax salaries, sources told ESPN. The new provision, called EPIC, Exceptional Performance on Initial Contract, allows players to renegotiate their 4-year salary and earn the standard max that that year if they were previously an all WNBA first team or second team or the Supermax if they won the...
The most honest way to understand this story is through numbers. Caitlin Clark, the player who sold out arenas that hadn't been full in years, helped push the WNBA past 1 million viewers per game for the first time since 2008. In 2025, her presence boosted ratings more than the rest of the league combined, and she made just $78,066, around $78,000. That's comparable to a mid-level office salary, far below what rookies in the NBA, NFL, or MLB earn. Meanwhile, Clark was breaking assist records, selling jerseys, and bringing massive attention back to the sport. The league paid her an amount that wouldn't even cover 2 months of rent in a decent Indianapolis apartment. That's not a salary, it's a bet that your most valuable asset won't question it. She did, and so did the entire sports world. The new CBA is the league finally admitting it had no other choice.
What has now happened is, because of the quote-unquote epic rule, I'm going to call it the Caitlin rule, because let's be real, she was the first person to have reached this. Whether it be it's Caitlin, Aaliyah, and Paige are all eligible. I'm just going to call it the Caitlin rule. Just like the old Rose rule in the NBA, we're going to call it the Caitlin rule. So ironically, if Caitlin goes and wins MVP this year, she's actually eligible for the Supermax.
In 2026, everything shifts. Clark's salary rises by more than 500% to $530,000, nearly 6 times what she earned the year before. But before praising the league, remember that $530,000 is still far below her actual value. In 2025 alone, Clark earned $16.1 million through endorsements, appearances, and business deals. Nike, State Farm, Gatorade, Wilson, she became the 6th highest paid female athlete in the world. The WNBA paid her less than half of 1% of that total. The league was getting franchise-level impact at a price no business expert could defend. Yes, $530,000 is progress, but it still isn't fair. It's better, but it's not equal to her value.
The way the team is structured, in order for this team to remain intact, Sophie would have to be willing to take a league minimum kind of deal, which is around $300,000, and I don't see that happening. Okay, and I believe also people are going to be shocked how much money Lexi Hull is about to be offered, because I think she's going to get offered $600,000 to $700,000 by somebody, and that is going to greatly complicate things.
This is where things become complicated. Money doesn't just appear out of thin air. When Clark's salary increases, it comes out of the salary cap. The new WNBA cap is $7 million, and the Indiana Fever must build an entire roster within that limit. Every player, starters and bench, must fit under that number. Clark alone already takes up more than 7% of the cap. When other key players are due for extensions at the same time, there's a term for what happens: a cap squeeze. And Indiana is about to feel it.
I wish they would have had Kelsey Mitchell on here, because after last season, I mean, look, Kelsey finished what, 3rd or 4th in the MVP voting? This is her contract to make as much money as she possibly can, I believe, in this league. And come next year, because I don't think that the Fever are going to be able to keep her next season. And one could argue, depending on how much you covet depth on a team, like how deep do you want your team to be? I think one could argue against re-signing Kelsey Mitchell this year.
Kelsey Mitchell is often overlooked on the national stage, so let's give her credit. She's one of the league's most dangerous scorers, and arguably the Fever's second best player. Under the new CBA, her contract situation becomes far more expensive. Indiana used the core designation to retain her, and now she's in line for a Supermax deal worth about $1.4 million. That's 20% of the entire cap for one player who isn't Caitlin Clark. Aaliyah Boston is also due for a major contract soon. Meanwhile, Clark herself becomes eligible for a 3-year max worth $1.3 million in 2027, increasing to a $1.7 million supermax in 2028. Add it all together, and more than half of Indiana's cap is tied up in just 3 players before completing the rest of the roster. That's the reality of a historic pay increase.
I want Kelsey Mitchell to take a 1-year deal instead of a multi-year deal is due to this. Aaliyah Boston is eligible for the Supermax this year. The following year, Caitlin Clark is eligible for a Supermax, which could be worth $1.7 million, actually close to $2 million. So who are you going to invest in? Kelsey Mitchell or Caitlin Clark. And that's why I say, don't play this game, Fever. I'm talking to organizations. I'm talking to Amber Cox, Kelly Crosskoff, and definitely Stephanie White. Don't mess this up. Please, for the love of God, do not mess this up. I don't mind if Kelsey Mitchell comes back for 1 year, but 1 year only.
Every league with a superstar has faced this situation. You build around a generational talent, pay them what they deserve, and then reality hits. The salary cap can't support everyone at full market value. Role players leave, depth declines, and tough decisions follow. A team that once had balance begins to thin out. Clark deserves the raise, but the cap squeeze is unavoidable. Both truths exist at the same time.
The mindset of just be grateful for what you have. No, we need to dive into it. We need to have better workplaces, practice facilities, and it's not just for the women of the league now. We're talking about the women coming up, the future. We want them to have a safe space to where they can perform at a high level and get that revenue share and to live on a salary that is what they've earned.
It's livable.
That is livable.
You don't have to go over to Europe to go to other places.
Absolutely.
Then there's Aja Wilson, who is often missing from these financial conversations. She's a 3-time MVP, an Olympic gold medalist, and one of the most accomplished players in league history. Yet over the past 2 years, she's watched Clark reshape the business side of the sport and secure opportunities Wilson never received off the court. When Clark appeared on Sportico's 2025 highest paid athletes list at $16.1 million, and Wilson did not, the frustration was clear. Subtle social media posts and carefully chosen interview comments made that obvious. For years, Wilson has pushed for better pay. Now the new CBA arrives, and the headline is that a second-year player is the highest paid in league history. That's not easy to accept.
Aja Wilson clearly hates Caitlin Clark. I mean, clearly. What bothered her the most was the fact that she got this popularity, and she actually said it herself that she felt like history was being erased. Read the magazine, read the article. She really hates Caitlin Clark. On top of that, the writer, whoever wrote this, hates her too, because she said, yeah, Caitlin Clark brought this toxic fanship, brought the toxicity to the league. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. That's nonsense. That's straight bullshit. This league always has toxicity. Y'all just being exposed, because there was plenty of players, including Sue Bird, that said there was racism in the league. Sue Bird said it. Okay?
But this is the reality veterans must now deal with. The system doesn't reward longevity, loyalty, or even MVP awards. It rewards market impact. The epic clause exists because certain players fundamentally change the league's value. A standard rookie contract was never designed for that level of influence. Aja Wilson is an all-time great, but she has never consistently driven TV deals, sold out opposing arenas, or pushed viewership past 1 million on her own. Clark does that regularly. This isn't about who is the better player. It's about business impact, and rapidly growing leagues pay for impact first.
Indiana Fever guard Caitlin Clark, speaking from experience, players like me are going to be the ones that I think feel it the most, and that's what I think we're all super proud of, because that's what we set out from the beginning, was making sure every player felt a change in the CBA, and that's exactly what has happened. New York Liberty forward Breanna Stewart, the deal is going to be transformational. It's going to build up and help create a system where everybody's getting exactly what they deserve, and more from on the court and the off court aspects. Just excited that we can tell our fans that we're going to be back.
Looking ahead, the next 3 years are straightforward. In 2026, Clark earns $530,000, still one of the most undervalued contracts in sports. In 2027, she becomes eligible for a $1.3 million deal. By 2028, that increases to a $1.7 million supermax that will dominate headlines. Each step will spark new debate. Veterans who are underpaid will watch a young player earn more than they ever did. Some reactions will be respectful, others less so. But it all makes sense. This isn't generosity, it's business. One player is generating more value than most of the roster combined.
The Caitlin Clark stimulus package, also known as the newly agreed upon CBA deal. Make no mistake about it, folks. Every time the owners came to the table and said, fine, we'll increase the salary cap to this, you can thank Caitlin Clark. Every time the owner said, fine, we'll pay for your housing again, you can thank Caitlin Clark. Every time the owner said, shoot, we really don't want to come up off this 15% number, but you know what? We'll move a little bit. You can thank CC22. And on the player side, The only reason
Elijah Wilson has every right to feel frustrated. Veterans can question the system, and fans can debate fairness. Those discussions matter. But one fact is no longer up for debate. Caitlin Clark's value is now built into the league's structure. In a league where the total cap was $1.5 million just a year ago, her salary alone already exceeds $500,000 and is rising toward $1.7 million. The WNBA has shifted from underpaying its biggest star to finally recognizing her worth, even if the cost continues to grow. Everyone else will either adjust or watch that number keep climbing. Share your thoughts in the comments, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what comes next.